several candidates seek to replace Jim Inhofe as Senate primary. So Amber Integrated, which it's basically them and Shepard Research are the two pollsters. Both are Republican pollsters that, I think Amber maybe has a couple Democrats at it, but they ripped off from some other consultancy group. So anyway, I always take what they send out with like a grain of salt. They don't Amber though doesn't ask too many policy questions. They're mostly like thumbs up, thumbs down type stuff. So it's a little more difficult to screw up the results. But pretty low number of voters. Of course, this was the GOP primary one, and then I think they did a statewide one as well. But anyway. New poll, 400 likely GOP voters. Markwayne Mullin has the most support with 35%. This is the Senate primary with another 3% of voters leading his way. T.W. Shannon has 16% with another 3%. Scott Pruitt and Nathan Dahm both had 5%. And then Luke Holland, who has cut these extremely bizarre ads of him praying in a hammock, is sitting way down at 4%. Who shows you just kind of what the Inhofe endorsement is worth these days. Mullin is crushing it with fundraising, $2.1 million, and Luke Holland has raised $800,000. Shannon has $400,000. Pruitt apparently doesn't submit reports these days, which is very, very much a Scott Pruitt move to not disclose things. And then Dahm has raised $300,000. So anyway. Here are the crosstabs of it. So, try to zoom this in so folks can see it. Okay, so in the GOP primary one, though, Kevin Stitt is crushing it. Moria McCabe, don't even know who that is. Joel Kinsel, who came out very late. Anyway, nobody's polling above single digits except Kevin Stitt, who is polling at 56%. So, obviously, gonna win the primary there. We'll talk about this one in a bit. State auditor Cindy Byrd is sitting at 23%. I mean, basically, when you're that low, it just means nobody knows who you are, even though she's a sitting statewide elected official. And this is a GOP primary, so that's even like more embarrassing because she's a Republican. But anyway, we'll talk about that race later because there's some crazy dark money spending going on. Gentner Drummond is still leading John O'Connor, though that has tightened up a little bit. Langford is absolutely demolishing Jackson Lemire, not even close, 65-10. So Lemire, for all the work he's put in, is getting destroyed. Okay, and so I wanted to talk about this race and see what I want to see. Lean Mullin, how many are undecided? So there's still 22% undecided. So my take, and I'm going to keep it, is Mullin wins outright with 50%. I don't even think he goes to a runoff.
Even with how crowded the field is?
Yeah, or he'll come in at like 48. I mean, if he doesn't make it outright, he's going to come in like... Just based on vote splitting alone, I mean, he's getting... majority of every vote. So once you split him out, I mean, I guess it'd be hard for him to get over 50%. But if he makes a big last-minute push, something crazy comes out about TW or one of his other opponents, I mean, I think he could do it.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so, what's the total number of opponents in this? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think like 14.
Okay. So, I'll be honest, I'm kind of on the opposite end of where you are. I don't think he'll end up winning outright, but I do think he'll end up being top of the results. If that happens, though, we might get into a situation where, and it does go to a runoff. I think it's much more dangerous for him to get into a runoff than it is anything else. And the reason why is there's a boatload of information that you can use to go at it on martial arts weighing in. You can pull up pictures of him ducking behind chairs during the insurrection. You can talk about how he fumbled Afghanistan. There's just so much to work with in the case that it goes to a runoff. Albeit, my bigger question is who do you think is going to end up falling second?
Well, I mean, obviously in this case Shannon will, but I think, I mean, Shannon only got 35% against Langford last go around, so I don't see any shot. Like, voters have already soundly rejected T.W. Shannon as a statewide option. Like, they've already clearly said Republican, and I'm talking about Republican primary voters. They've clearly said, we're not here for this. And I don't think he's done hardly anything to improve that case. I mean, shilling for Trump. I mean, look what shilling for Trump's done for Jackson Lamire. He can barely pull double digits against Langford, even though Langford voted to certify the election. So it's like, I think Mark Wayne's got the best of both worlds. He's this fake tough guy. Like, I think they love the Afghanistan stuff, even though it's like not true. He clearly didn't go over there. He didn't. Like, I think they still love that stuff. He also, I'm pretty positive, voted against certifying the election. So, I mean, he gets to, I think he'll just, if he gets pushed to a runoff, he'll easily pull the vast majority of the other folks. And in a Republican primary, I don't think any of the downsides against him hurt him, like the things you mentioned. I think maybe in a general, but, it's Oklahoma.
It's tough. Who's the real winner in all of this, though?
Oh, God, who?
The tribes. Like, no matter what, like, whether it's him or TW, like, they end up winning no matter what the situation is in this case. And that, from what I'm understanding, is that some of the big five have made some significant contributions to the GOP in this cycle. And I mean, I get it. I mean, you gotta make sure you have your interests in the right place. And Mark Wayne Mullin has had a history of being good to the tribes, which, John Bennett's in this primary too.
Is he? Where is he?
Yeah, I think he's running for CD too. Yeah, John Bennett is also in this primary as well.
Well, no, this is the Senate one, so he's over. And I don't think they pulled CD2. No,
they haven't. You're right. He's actually in the congressional primary. But I'm really interested to see, like, what does Republican world really look like right now, like on the internal side, because you got people like the chair of their party literally calling for, like, the removing of an entire nation's reservation from the state of Oklahoma, and I'm just like, how the fuck, like, what what does that even look like?
Man, I'm gonna call some bullshit on this poll. I will be very interested. I'm glad they're running these polls this close, because I will be very interested to see how they track with current results, with final results. I'm going to guess you're going to see some, like, major noise in these polls. Like, I just can't get over, like, how big the undecideds are in some of these.
I wonder how much they spent on this, too.
Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram